Current affairs.
Alright, guys.
Freshly pressed on Smooth 98.1.
Hit it.
Mics are up. Studio is live. Good morning to you, Lagos, and thank you for joining us from every part of the world. You're listening to Smooth 98.1, Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And Ayo Mairo Ese, good morning.
Good morning to you. It is 7:31 today for Freshly Pressed 91. We have Funmi Odude at Funmi Odude on Twitter. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. And we have Adenike Oyetunde at Adenike Oyetunde on Twitter. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Welcome. Join the conversation by sending us messages through WhatsApp 0809 4440981.
On Twitter, we're at Smooth981FM. Kindly use the hashtag freshlypressed981. On YouTube, we're streaming live, so please go on to youtube.com/Smooth981FM Lagos. The headlines are on our WhatsApp story, so please check that out, and also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page. We go straight to our first story. Fumi, I'll go to you. I'll ask you to please comment on this one from the Guardian newspaper. Airport on alert as Nigeria braces for coronavirus. Now, international airports yesterday went on red alert as they intensified the screening of inbound passengers following an outbreak of the deadly coronavirus in China. This is reminiscent of the Ebola virus,
Yes.
and I don't think we've had any red alert since then. And I'm sure when you go through the story, you would see how they've said that they still have equipment and what they deployed during that time. Now, so please take us through the story.
Okay, so I, like you said, yes, is reminiscence of that time. But thank God we're hearing about it before we have any case that has entered our borders, as opposed to the Ebola virus incident where we were actively trying to prevent its spread. So the story just speaks about the general manager of ADFAN and the Ministry of Health trying to reassure Nigerians that they're doing everything they should after in respect of this outbreak. So like you mentioned, the general manager corporate affairs at FAN has said that all the equipment and personnel used in combating the deadly Ebola virus is still very much in place at the airport and are being deployed. So we still have thermal scanners such that when passengers walk past, it registers their temperature, and if it's too high, you're pulled aside for observation. In incidents like this, information is key.
Yes.
So we also have the Ministry of Health assuring us that although this is a new strain of virus that is yet that has previously not been identified in humans, they are the Nigerian Center for Disease Control is setting up a group to investigate, try to find out as much information as they can about the virus. And so they also advised members of the public the same advice we hear every time, that should be daily habits anyway, including washing your hands regularly with soap under running water, covering your mouth and nose properly with a handkerchief or tissue paper when sneezing and or coughing, um, avoiding close contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illnesses such as coughing and sneezing, avoid self-medication, report to the nearest health facility should they experience any of the symptoms. And the symptoms, it's a respiratory it's a disease that affects the respiratory organs. So its symptoms are, of course, high
I believe it's a lower
temperature, respiratory, yes, it's high temperature, coughing, sneezing. I have a fear that they're going to receive quite a number of visits because this is, I don't know if we're coming out of a maternal or entering a maternal, whether it's just funny, but there seems to be something in the air causing um, cough and all. But yeah, so it's a bit comforting that the authorities are letting us know that they are working. Everything is in place.
Comforting. I would ask another question, but just to also highlight that 17 people have died from the virus in China, the outbreak in China. 550 cases have been reported globally. There are growing concerns because tomorrow is the Lunar New Year in China, and millions of people travel in and out. Beyond that, we know how Nigerians
Nigeria and
travel.
China.
Yes. We travel for trade, and now that one case has been identified in the United States of America, and the fact that Nigerians are known to, we're everywhere, and we travel back and forth to these countries very quickly. Would you say that you are confident based on the handling of the Ebola virus crisis? Let me put it that way. Since then and now, airport screening, airport control of passengers coming in and out, have we improved our processes?
Yes, we have. But there's always that thing of after the threat dies, we get a
Yes.
bit lax.
Mhm.
And so we let a few things slide. And then there's the general how confident are Nigerians in any regulatory authority? There's always that people feel like most people at the airport are more concerned about getting tips
Yes.
than about actually screening.
Mhm.
But yes, those I do know that thermal scanners are in airports, and now that we have an active threat, let's hope that the people manning those scanners are really concerned about doing their jobs.
All right, thank you very much. Please let this serve as a travel advisory for everyone. Please let's be very careful at this time, but no need to panic. All right, Vanguard newspaper has this report: why Trump may impose travel ban on Nigeria, six others. Of course, when you hear the US and Nigeria and ban in one sentence, everyone starts talking about this. About it. Yesterday, everyone was talking about the proposed travel ban on 7 countries, one of which is Nigeria by the US. Adenike, please take us through this story.
Okay, for someone like me who in the last year or year and a half has been hearing experiences of people whose visas have not been renewed for various reasons, and quite often for reasons they are not even given, just tell you no longer qualify for a renewal. This is not it's not surprising. However, I feel like an extreme, if you may ask me. And this is sometime late last year, there was a list about countries that had the list of countries from the US who stayed back the longest, and Nigeria was not even on top. We were on the list, quite all right, but we were not, top.
Yes.
And at Davos, the World Economic Forum, Donald Trump, though, had not disclosed um, strictly the countries concerned, and this was in an interview with the Wall Street Journal.
Mhm.
However, a news platform, Politico, had hinted that, we know that when Donald Trump came into power a few years ago, there were some Muslim countries that were banned back and forth and all of that drama. So now the speculations are that Belarus, Myanmar, Eritrea, Pakistan, Nigeria, Sudan, and Tanzania among the countries may be included in the list. And I like the word may. There's a possibility. But without a doubt, because like I said earlier, I've had one too many stories of, direct acquaintances of friends whose visas were not, we decided to speculate until it became evident that if you've ever done anything medical in the US, and particularly childbirth, a lot of people did not get their visas. Partners,
Particularly if you got a discount, you didn't pay.
so it's not an official statement from the consulate, but the gist is that if you've given birth and you've enjoyed some form of discount, because there's a standard amount for vaginal or cesarean section, as the case may be, and so all those we got $5,000. You're like you're owing the US government because taxpayers have had to augment. So Nigerians were conflicted. If they told me this was my bill and I'm trying to renew my visa, and you're telling me that this all the back and forth. But it just felt like they wanted some form of control in their country, and who can blame them?
And of course, the removal of Dropbox.
Apparently, we spoilt it because some Nigerians will go as far as sending their passports from the America to do Dropbox to renew their visa. So we always just have a way of giving people an opportunity why they should just stop us from enjoying certain things. But this is coming up, and I'm sure that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Interior, because there are bilateral trade agreements between both nations, it's just more than just banning. They have to give us reasons as to why. And they're saying that the Trump official and administration official has said that we have failed to comply with security requirements, including biometrics, information sharing, and counterterrorism measures, and face the risk of limitation on U.S. immigration. All of us know at least one person who, at one point in the last 5 years, directly or indirectly, got a 6-month visa and never returned. Let's be honest.
I'm
And
trying to think actually.
trust me, when you sit down, whether you know someone directly, or
Even the ones that
indirectly,
don't tell you that that's the intent.
exactly.
They just travel
So
and
you
don't
just
really know.
realize that at the end of the day, we just keep doing ourselves. Medical, the list is endless. But fingers crossed, the countries have not been unveiled yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for whatever it is worth that we're not on the list. By chance, you have a US visa. Now is the time to buy your ticket and use it just in case this happens.
All right, thank you very much. We have comments here, and
This one is from Topic from Agudu. He reacts to the coronavirus story. He said, "This message needs to be taken to schools the same way Ebola alerts were propagated everywhere. Children are more vulnerable, and we must protect them by all means."
And then Salam says that the reason for the ban is because of racial and religious as contained in the material fact of the first lawsuit of the travel ban, NNECP versus DOG. Yes, Adenike did mention that a Trump official had said that, but also talking about other factors that affect immigration between, immigration in Nigeria and other countries, between Nigeria and other countries. But thank you very much for your comment. We'll move on to our next story. Funmi, I'll come to you for this one. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, through its president, made some statements with regards to Nigeria's economy being fragile, vulnerable to shocks, according to this new Telegraph report. Can you please take us through the story?
Okay, so caveats, I'm no economist, but everything she said, I think it has become regular mantras that almost every Nigerian knows. So she did mention that our inflation at the end of December 2019 was at 11.98%, and that making it the fourth consecutive month of rising inflation. I mean, that would worry anybody.
Yeah.
And of course, she gave the reason as our the monoproduct nature economy.
Yes.
And again, they talk about diversification and how we have still not successfully diversified from oil. So on the federal government to intensify diversification. And of course, with regard to SMEs, she mentioned the issue of multiplicity of levies, infrastructure challenges, sluggish growth, excessive regulation, high cost of credit, and unfavorable government policies. And to be a bit fair, there's been some moves with regard to that. I mean, the new Finance Act, in the new Finance Act, for instance, we have some tax obligations removed from SMEs, those that their turnover up to 25 million in a year. And so when we also have some, in respect to the high cost of credit, I know that the central bank has brought out a lot of policies to encourage banks, in fact, mandating banks to lend and to credit. So yeah, some moves have been
to deposit ratio.
Yes, so some moves have been made with respect to some of the challenges she has mentioned, but I mean, we still have, nobody can doubt that we still have challenges. She also mentioned that, of course, the rising inflation, which of course would weaken purchasing power, and the level of poverty in the country already, without having to add that to it, makes it a very worrying situation. So, and another major thing she highlighted, the security concerns in our major food producing areas. And these are not new. Yeah, these are not new challenges. They are things that we had always highlighted. So I think it was just another conference to highlight what we worked on, but what we are still, the challenges that still face us, that we still need to work on.
Thank you. The conference or the seminar was the State of the Economy for 2020. We have a number of events lined up on the economic outlook for 2020 by different organizations. This was put forward by the LCCI, and the speech or the statements were made by Mrs. Toki Mabo-Wunde, who is the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Thank you very much, Funmi. We move on to our next story. Again, this is an update on an issue that has dominated, I would say, newspaper commentaries, headlines, reports. Amotekun. Finally, the leader of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has spoken, and we have reactions from Southwest governors, Afenifere, as well as others. Some in support, others not quite in support of what he said. They say he's been quite neutral in his statement. Well, please, Adenike, take us through this story.
Okay, so I'm going to start from Falano. That is Mr. Femi Falano, SAN's stance, and he says that he would advise that the Southwest governors submit bills on Amotekun to the Houses of Assembly. And he stated in his word by saying that this is not a regional paramilitary organization, but a zonal security outfit being set up to assist the Nigerian police force and other security agencies in combating incessant killings, kidnappings, armed robberies, and other violent crimes, as the case may be. That is according to Femi Falana. Now, Afenifere dismissed the statement of Tinubu, saying that it lacked substance. And let me read the quote. It says, maybe he, Tinubu, should have kept quiet. This is not the time to speak in a fucked tongue, but what is the reason you are afraid of Buhari? In 2001, when there was a crisis between herdsmen and farmers, what did Buhari do? He went to Ibadan and told Governor Lam Adeshino, your people are killing my people. And the list goes on. So what did Tinubu himself say? Tinubu said that, and I'm quoting now, it says, as I understand it, Amotekun is to be another set of eyes and ears to assist the police. As such, it is but the second generation of neighborhood watch expanded to a regional scale. Conceptually, there is nothing wrong with this. It does not appear to insult the Constitution. However, my position regarding Amotekun is not blind or uncritical. There are several organizational and functional aspects of the proposal that could cause some problems if left unsettled. And he talked about peculiarities. He feels very strongly that each state should fashion it in such a way that it fits their peculiar problems. And, you know, this is just a generalization or a summation of what he said. He also did talk about the fact that he was going to criticize Malami, what's his name? For issuing a statement condemning the initiative when he could have simply reached out to them and handled it internally and more amicably.
I think he spoke both ways.
Yes.
He criticized
and
the
then he
Amotekun proponents for not
doing
involving,
certain things, and then he also did call out Malami for the things that should have been done. And you know, in conclusion, he said that he feels very strong that the government stated that it consulted regularly with the police and security agencies. He says this was the right thing to do. However, the failure to include the Office of the Attorney General in these discussions is the fount of the current public uproar. This was an unfortunate omission the government should regret and seek to remedy. However, the conceptual merits and positive functional aspects of Amotekun should not be tainted by procedural defect. So, you know, Afenifere, I'm just like, that reminds me of Yinka Abdulmakin. One time he said it's not good. Now he's saying it's good. Take a stance. Where exactly?
But also just buttresses what we've been saying, that it's majorly a procedural defect.
Exactly.
They didn't do their homework to the letter.
But I'm of the view that the governors, well, maybe, I don't know. I'm not particularly part of the people that think that they ought to have necessarily involved the AGF.
You know, we do these things in this country.
So
procedurally, according, you know, one of the first things was the fact that it does not have a constitutional backing. That was where the argument started from. And then we moved to the part where,
and it feels rushed.
If you had been speaking to everybody, why did you then omit the AGF? A lot of the things that we do here are just because for formality's sake. Let's just do and avoid certain things. So I understand what Funmi is saying. I personally just wonder why in God's good earth are you
where they should have started from. I can understand where the laws and you go to your houses of assembly for that.
Yes.
And so maybe the idea of the launch wasn't so much to start operations from the day of the launch, but to expose the public to the initiative.
This is what we're working on.
Exactly. And then go back.
So like what Valentine was saying, maybe it was just a little too rushed to announce to the public what they had cooking. So who knows?
All right, we have comments here. This is he said, I'm a Nigerian man in my 40s, been traveling to the US since 2002 and was denied a visa last October for no reason. It's true loads of Nigerians abuse their visa privileges, but some also are genuine fans. The current administration in the US will pass one day and perhaps policies will change again.
All right, Shegun here says, it is becoming clear that apart from claiming to provide security is a project to position unelected people into power and sideline certain politicians. If they continue along this path, it will be a disaster. Shegun, thank you for your comments. The Shamefully sent in another one from Muniro.
It says on the US anticipated travel ban, my fiance and family members can't get the US visas because their mom overstayed the last time she was in the US on a visit to her son. Now the son is getting married next week and no member of the family can attend. Nigerians and Nigeria's problem. May God save us.
Talking about a Nigerian problem, health is another major issue. The Nigerian Universities Commission on Wednesday are resounding the issues, bedevil the medical practice in Nigeria. They said medical practitioners in the country underserved, or rather, it's no news anymore that we don't have enough doctors. It's that we need at least 300,000 additional qualified doctors to meet the standards set. Where do we find these doctors, Adenike?
In Canada. Is that the end? Can we move on?
Yes, please.
Yes, where they are.
So how do we get them back?
How do you get who back? If I had a sibling, I'm being honest, if I had a sibling who was a medical doctor, by all means, please send us people so we can come and do a holiday in Canada and apply for visa. Honestly speaking, because you realize that it's one thing to be patriotic and, push the Nigerian flag. Not everyone will relocate to Canada, let's be very factual, or any other place in the world. But some people are just looking to move to a place where things work. I will walk my behind and I want to see the dividends. I want to get home and see I have power. I want to see that there's road. I want to see that my children have the propensity to get education.
And that last part also comes with the security and safety of the kids. It's
Absolutely.
one of the major concerns that most intending parents.
Have you seen how many people who are relocating? Before it was people under a particular pay range. Now you see, my friend told me that they're considering it, and they're big. They are big here, and the argument was really about better life. So if the doctors are moving, the question is, why are they moving? We know why they are moving. What are we doing ensuring that the ones that are considering moving will probably give them an opportunity to say, okay, if Canada is willing to pay you $6,000 per week, we might not be able to match up with what Canada is going to pay you. However, we're going to ensure that you have better tools to work with. We're going to ensure that your conditions for of service are good. We're going to ensure that the HMO is amazing. Because you may not be able to match up in reality, in clear terms, what these other countries are providing for doctors. And every week on Twitter, we see someone doing a thread about if you are a doctor and want to move. The last one, I took my time to read it. People are saving to do these things, especially because they're in stages. You do these steps, you do this, you do this. So I don't know what NUC is claiming that we need 300,000, because we know that the WHO has already clearly stated what number of patients to a doctor, 1 to 600. Dearly beloved, I don't even know if you know how many doctors we have here in this country. So you understand that they are overwhelmingly understaffed. There is no doubt about it. So what is the government doing to retain the ones that are willing? Because we cannot force them not to relocate.
So beyond relocation, it's interesting. I find it interesting that the Nigerian Universities Commission is weighed into this, because it's from the universities that these doctors are produced. And one of the major reasons that a friend of mine that relocated to the UK to practice medicine, specializing in a particular field, said was they don't have the right training here enough to compete on the international scene. When they go there, they usually start from the point of getting extra training, extra specialization, and they end up getting paid. So the salaries a month is equal to the salary a doctor earns a year here.
And I also want to include that they are equally amazing. A doctor performed and told me that if the doctor was based here, the surgery was done here, I would have doubted with every single thing that I have. So there are exceptional doctors. We are not disputing it, but what we're saying that on generalistic front, everything that we're faced with. Dixon, the governor is now saying that he wants to invest heavily. That's one of the biggest ways.
Yes.
For Bielsa.
Yes, for Bielsa State. And this is what every state, Lagos State government under past administrations had invested huge amounts in the teaching hospitals. And you realize that these teaching hospitals are flooded on a daily basis. So And you see a lot more, like Valentine has said, has to start from the university level. Because when you see all these things, you begin to ask yourself, is this how we'll be struggling for this to use this? Is this how we'll be doing this? And as
So
the
let me
case
just
might go,
highlight one important aspect as well. It talks about the fact that we are producing only 40,000 medical students. It means that more and more Nigerians, young people, are either losing interest in studying medicine or are not. And if you notice, we have a number of people moving to the arts. Unlike when we're younger, you ask people, what do you want to be? And they say, I want to be a doctor.
My
So we need
parents
to
wanted
look-
me to be a doctor.
Yeah, we need to look into that and probably catch them young. In other parts of the world, they have this STEM program, science, technology, I think engineering and
Engineering,
maths, and
maths,
it's to introduce and help young people have an interest in these areas.
Let me ask you one quick question.
Yes, please.
What is the average sum that entertainers made in December?
Dirty
I rest
December.
my case, barrister.
That's all the rest is
Dirty December.
Let's move on very quickly to this next story. Funmi, the Punch reports that Adenike alleges persecution battles alleged 300 million naira Malabu deal bribe. He said he was expecting this from the EFCC. He expected it, but that this case particularly will expose the persecution and illegalities going on in the country. Your thoughts?
You know what tires me about? We hear about all these corruption cases for years, and then we're finally got into court, and it's not, we're not moving. This is another.
It's hot until it hits the headlines.
Exactly. So what happened was the former AGF Adenike, who has been in detention for about 5 weeks, was finally supposed to be arraigned in court along with other defendants, including the oil companies. And then the arraignment could not proceed and had to be adjourned again because EFCC failed to serve the charges on him and other defendants. He has been in their custody. As in, it's just, how you pour cold water on Nigerians. The Malibu deal has been on both local and international headlines for a long time, and the whole saga, I think we like the action part when we are chasing them. They're on Excel, he's in Dubai, we moved him, Interpol is working. I think we prefer that action to action. It has now reached this point. Why are we stalling? Why are we and then if you look through the story, most of the defendants have gotten these heavyweight lawyers, the heavyweight SANs already, and EFCC is already starting with adjournment over very simple.
And they filed 42 counts against them.
Let this one not be like the others, where we get tired of following up because it's adjourned for one ridiculous reason or
Do you
the
know
other.
what I fear? I feel that if we continue this way and don't necessarily see, maintain that tempo until the case is concluded, a lot of people who are thinking or even practicing corruption on any scale right now will be borrowing the templates that these people who have been arraigned and held in EFCC custody are probably using, and probably anticipating that when EFCC catches me, I'll probably
That's just
delay
what's going to
with these
be.
tactics and
Oh
everything.
yeah, that's one of the reasons people ask me. So why are you not practicing? I made that decision during my court attachment, and it was at that point in time Francis Atuche's case had not gone beyond mention, and when I was in school, I'd been hearing about his case. So I found out that he had a deep team of senior advocates of Nigeria, and all that was happening. My lord would like to adjourn and adjourn. I'm like, nah, I ain't caught
You
up with
can't do
this.
this. What we can do though is applaud the fact that our English is
Hey,
getting into the
hey,
dictionary.
hey,
I don't know
hey.
if applaud is the word I'd like to use.
Applaudisse.
Disappointed.
You what?
Oh.
So now we can easily
Now
use
I can-
trafficate.
In this,
It's trafficate there.
Yeah, baby.
This is horrible.
in this report,
But trafficate is better than next tomorrow.
Sorry, guys. Ladies, Nigerian English has been added to the Oxford English Dictionary,
Yes.
as reported by the Vanguard newspaper. We have certain words like we have buka,
Yes, barbing salon, chop,
okada,
downfall,
right?
mama put.
Yes.
There's agric.
There's K-leg.
There's guba for gubernatorial.
Yeah.
There's send forth.
There's Ember months.
There's next tomorrow.
I'm surprised I didn't.
They're doing,
Yes.
as well as Dokon Ajibade Olagunju.
Mm.
And thank you for having me, you guys. We're going to eat our kara.
And where you're going, please remember to trafficate to his direction. Funmi, thank you for stepping in. Find them up on Twitter at Funmi Odude at Adenike Oyetunde. Next, we have Chi Girl for the Grapevine 91.
Oh, you do.
The headlines.
Hell Oh.
So I can say traffic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
I couldn't believe the next tomorrow.
Oh my
Next tomorrow. I looked at next tomorrow like next. Are you kidding me? They allowed
They
next
didn't
tomorrow.
They didn't have Shebi. Somebody
Oh, I'm there.
somebody
Shebi
just
should be
said
there.
Shebi, they said, oh my days,
should be
how are we
Shebi.
now going to know which one is bad English and not? Because now everything has just been put together. Well, it's good, Sha. On the
Language
good side, is
evolves.
that language will now no longer be
Language
used
Which
as a
is why
criteria
I
for
find the
intelligence.
people who are also
Language
fighting
involves.
the law. The ladies who said they want skirts, I love it. I love that somebody or a group of people want to challenge the law. If Fidelis could get her hijab, not just for her, but for every other person who wants to be called to the bar,
Yeah.
I feel like if these people who say they don't, their religion does not allow them to
To
do
wear
it.
trousers.
So what it means is if they get a sound team, they will be exempted. And it means that they will have to prove that they belong to that affiliate of Christianity or whatever belief it is that they have. And I like it because laws are to be tested. Laws are to be tested.
Laws are made for
See.
people, not people for
Today
people.
said doesn't mean it's no longer colloquial or poor English. You added the
Exactly.
his.
Yeah, those who are down to the
Mommy,
dictionary.
Bravo. You now spell.
No, but when I couldn't believe was next tomorrow.
Next
Like, how
tomorrow,
can you add
yes.
next tomorrow.
Ah,
It's like adding the God next tomorrow. Anyway.
sorry, stuff.
And not all the